Hi everybody, welcome to A Course in Miracles Applied. Today's topic is called the purpose of illusions. I was ready to do this yesterday and now I don't think I'm ready for it. I'm doing it anyway because we're going away, so I thought I'll sneak it in, but I don't feel ready to do it. And we will probably figure out why this is, why we're not ready to do things, certain things. So, the purpose of illusions, there's a little bit of a backstory to that. I think it was somewhere in the mid-90s when Ken had already started to publish tapes. It was all on tapes back then, and I listened to one of his tapes. It was only a 2-tape set. It was a very short couple of hour workshops, and I think it was called The Meaning of Judgment. And he goes through, he does his thing, and then he comes to the section in the text which is called The Vision of Sinlessness in chapter 20. It also, I think this coincides a little bit with Easter. The chapter 20, some of it was written during Easter time in the course. But anyway, there's this that paragraph 8, that when he reads that and he talks about it, it somehow stuck with me, and it just never went away. It was always kind of in the background. It was very prevalent, and he uses that paragraph several times on several workshops. You could say that this paragraph could be one of the core paragraphs of the course that we could probably spend a week on discussing it. And certainly it goes to the core of the ego thought system. It goes to the core of the course's curriculum. Ken always said that the course could be named, A Course in Miracles could be named A Course in Purpose. And it took a very long time for me to understand that, what that means, and why this could be also called A Course in Purpose. So here we are. I'm going to read you this paragraph, or at least parts of it. I'm going to read you the whole thing and then we'll discuss it. So again, it's chapter 20, section 8, The Vision of Sinlessness, and it's paragraph 8. In this paragraph, Jesus uses hallucinations as the main focus of the paragraph. And hallucinations and illusions we could easily swap out. It says, hallucinations disappear when they are recognized for what they are. This is the healing and the remedy. Believe them not, and they are gone. And all you need to do is recognize that you did this. Once you accept this simple fact and take onto yourself the power you gave them, you are released from them. One thing is sure. Hallucinations serve a purpose. And when that purpose is no longer held, they disappear. Therefore, the question never is whether you want them, the hallucinations, but always, do you want the purpose that they serve? This world seems to hold out many purposes, each different and with different values. Yet they are all the same. Again, there's no order, only a seeming hierarchy of values. we did a segment called The Purpose of Problems. And we talked about that problems that we experience, whether they are health related or job related or relationship related or money related or world stage related, they are not just there, right? They don't just appear. They serve a very specific purpose for us. And the purpose they serve, which we could say all problems, the whole world, everything including our body, our psyche, our character, this little s self, the universe is all part of the illusion, and it is part of a hallucination. We are literally hallucinating when we look out into the world. We see things that aren't there, right? If we look at another person, right? Let's say this water bottle is the other person. This water bottle is the Christ in the other person, right? That this water bottle represents the truth in the other, in the other. But we don't see that. What we do is we take the guilt that is ours, right? We take the belief in guilt that we can't fathom. It is so big, and the Course says it is so severe that it has to be projected, right? So we take this guilt and we place it onto the other. And that's what we see. We don't see the Christ in the other, right? We see the projection of our own guilt in the other. And we see this projected guilt everywhere in the world, right? The Course says projection makes perception, and you cannot look beyond it. If we're in the ego thought system, we cannot look beyond our projections. Everything we look at will have the mark of our guilt on it, because there is no other way for us to be in the ego thought system than to try to project out that guilt, right? So the guilt is being projected outward. I don't see the Christ in the other because I have given the other my guilt, and that's what I'm looking at, right? The purpose that a problem serves it's a very specific purpose. The purpose that the world serves for us is very specific, right? It's not just happening. The purpose of the illusion, and the illusion is, in one case, would be how I see the other person, right? I see a hallucination. I see the guilt that I think is in myself. It's so bad I have to project it out. I see it in the other. I am literally hallucinating. I'm not seeing the Christ, right, in the other. I'm seeing a hallucination. And forgiveness, true forgiveness, can only work in the long term if we realize what the purpose is of the attack, of seeing the guilt in the other. Right? The purpose determines it. If I don't know what the purpose is of the problem that I have, I can't solve it. So when Jesus says hallucinations disappear when they are recognized for what they are, what they are, not what they are in the world, right? If I have trouble with money and I think about money all the time, or health, or relationship, the very thinking about it, what is the state that I'm not in when I think about the problem? The state I'm not in when I think about the problem is peace, is joy, is happiness. Right? So the state I'm not in when I'm thinking about the issues in the world, be that major or minor, doesn't matter. The state I'm not in when I'm thinking about those problems is I'm not at peace. And that is the purpose of the problem. The problem doesn't just appear. Whatever upsets me, when I drive in the car, somebody cuts me off. It's the classic example. I don't know how often that actually happens, right? It's like quicksand. When do you ever experience quicksand? Everybody says, oh, avoid quicksand, right? I've never seen quicksand. And there's not a lot of cutting off, but if it happens, somebody cuts you off in traffic and you get upset about it. The purpose of that cutting off, that was given by us. What purpose does it serve? It serves the purpose that I give my guilt to the other, right? The other driver is making me upset. And it also does something on a grand scale that it always does, which is the purpose of every hallucination, of every illusion. And the purpose of every illusion is to hide the truth. Right? That is the purpose. If a problem, if anything in the world upsets me, I gave that thing the purpose of upsetting me, and the purpose is to hide the truth. And we have truth right here, and our hallucinations, the illusion, is what we use to hide the truth. We hide that in the other. We place an illusion, which is our guilt, onto the other, and this illusion hides the Christ in the other. Right? Now, we don't know this unless we get something like the course and dive really deep into it and realize what it all means. We don't necessarily realize that the illusion isn't just an illusion, right? When we say in the beginning, I remember myself, the course says this world is an illusion, right? Oh, it's just an illusion, don't worry about it, right? The war in Gaza, in Israel, is just an illusion. There's never anything like just, the word just. I just had this discussion with my friend Dave. Hey, Dave. There's no such thing as just. Oh, this is just an illusion. We made this world, the universe. We made all of this to hide the truth from us, right? To have this be the block between us and the awareness of love's presence. So it's not a small thing. It's a small thing from Jesus's perspective, right? But in order to get past it, get through it, we have to recognize the enormity of this illusion, because it is so powerful, because of the purpose we give it. The power the illusion has over us lies in its purpose, not in itself. An illusion is an illusion. I mean, it's nothing, right? A hallucination is just that. It's a hallucination. But the purpose we give it makes it as powerful as we are. As the Son of God, we have unlimited power, and we gave 99.99999% of that power to the illusion. We have to realize that the illusion is alive because of the purpose that we give it, not because of itself. The world isn't just an illusion. If it were just an illusion, we could just wake up right now at this very moment. We could have the peace of God. If we don't have the peace of God right now, because there's nothing that keeps us from having it, if we don't have the peace of God right now, it is because we actively resist it. And the Course lays bare all those dynamics within ourselves that prevent us from wanting that peace. We still believe if we reach that peace, God will get us, because we took the life from Him, as the ego tells us, when the separation seemingly happened. And then when we get back to the mind, God will come back and He will take back the life we stole from Him, and we will die. That is why we're not at peace. And we can't just say, this is just an illusion, I'm waking up. The ego in us, that part of us that does not want to go, cheers us on, because it knows we will never reach that. Right? If we say, oh, this is just an illusion, not a big deal, the ego smiles. Because the ego's goal is for us never to get back to the mind where we could make a decision against it. So we make this illusion together with the ego, right? And then we're completely identified with it, not realizing that this purpose of this identification with the illusion is for us not to go back to the mind. And if we say, oh, this is just an illusion, we have no clue what that really, really means, right? What does this mean? What is this illusion? If we say this is an illusion and we really mean it, we would realize we are an illusion. We are not real. So the one that says this is an illusion is as unreal as the illusion. So it's absolutely meaningless, right? It's meaningless for our journey. What we need to focus on is the purpose this illusion serves. And if you think about how many seconds per day you are in perfect peace, where nothing can disturb our peace, when we know we are loved, we love everything and everyone, right? How many seconds per day are we in that state where nothing can interfere with that peace? And if we're honest, we might say none. We have pseudo peace, right, where we are peaceful because our needs were met for a little while. But that deep, abiding peace, if we're not there, we believe this illusion to be 100% true. And we believe it because of its purpose. We must believe it. The ego's whole existence depends on us believing the illusion of this world, with everything in it, all the problems, all the difficulties. The ego's number one goal is for us to believe in the illusion. And part of keeping that illusion going is saying, this is an illusion. Ha, this is an illusion. I can simply wake up, right? And the counterpoint to that is, if we were ready to wake up and be at peace, and an abiding, deep, deep peace that includes everything and everyone, we would be there. There's nothing that stands in the way. And in order to get there, we not only have to look at the illusion, that's just the screen where we see what's going on within us. We have to realize what the purpose is the illusion serves, what the purpose is our problems serve, what the purpose is if we have a health crisis. What does it do if we have a money crisis, or a relationship or job, or we're afraid the world is going to end? What does it do to us? And what it does to us, that's the purpose. That is its purpose. If we lie in bed at night and think about money, the purpose this problem has is for us to think about it so that we're not at peace. We're not going back to the mind and making the decision for peace. That is the purpose of the problem. And the purpose of the illusion, I don't know if you can see it. It says purpose here. It's a little scroll. The purpose of the illusion is hidden by the illusion within the illusion. Right? So the illusion has a purpose, and that purpose is hidden inside the illusion. What we see when we look, we see our problem with our health or a relationship, right? We see that. But we have to go one step further and look to the purpose. What is the purpose this issue serves? Because every hallucination has a purpose. It says hallucinations disappear when they are recognized for what they are. Believe them or not, and they are gone. All you need to do, and when Jesus says all you need to do, he makes it so easy, right? All you need to do is recognize that you did this. He should have added, and this is going to take you 40, 50, 60 years, right? He doesn't do that. But anyway, we forgive him. And once you accept this simple fact and take unto yourself the power you gave them, you are released from them. One thing is sure, hallucinations serve a purpose, and when that purpose is no longer held, they disappear. Therefore, the question never is whether you want them, the illusion. Whether we want the illusion or not makes no difference. If we say, I don't want that money problem anymore, nothing is going to happen. I don't want this relationship problem anymore. Nothing is going to happen. Therefore, the question never is whether you want them, the illusions, the hallucinations, but always, do you want the purpose that they serve? And the purpose they serve is to hide the truth from our awareness. And that is the purpose of the illusion. So if we look out at our illusions, our problems, our issues, whatever they might be, the question is always, what purpose do they serve? What do they do to me? How do I feel right now when I think about that relationship? And if I feel anxious about it, if I feel conflicted or oppressed, then that is the purpose of the relationship for me. I want to feel oppression. I want to feel victimized because that hides the truth. It's always about purpose. What purpose does it serve? What does it do to me? this world seems to hold many purposes, right? Those purposes are all there to distract us from the one purpose, for us not to be at peace. Connected to this, I think, is another aspect of being a course student, which is a very normal aspect, and every one of us goes through it. Throughout the beginning stages and towards the end, throughout the beginning stages though, we tend to concentrate on the good parts, right? We don't really want to dig up the purpose of our problems, because once we dig up the purpose of our problems, when that purpose is no longer held, they disappear. So in order for us not to question the problems, we will not look at the purpose of the problems. We will look at all the positives, right? The reflections of truth in the other person. We will concentrate on maybe seeing the Christ in the other person, or forgiving our brother. We will concentrate on the positive. And that's a very normal, I think, a necessary phase. But eventually we have to get past that first initial introductory phase and go to the next step, which is always to look at the illusion. Forget that, right? Forget the truth, because the truth is there. There's nothing we have to do about it, right? We don't have to affirm it. We don't have to go towards it. What we need to do is look at the block that we have placed before the truth, and specifically the block, look at the purpose the block serves. That is the main work with the course, is to look at the purpose this block serves. And we can do that anywhere, in any situation, any time of day. We can be in a meeting, we can be at a doctor's office, in a dentist's chair, we can be out to dinner. Whenever we're not peaceful, whenever we don't feel that abiding peace within us, we want the problem that is keeping us from it, that's seemingly keeping us from it. We want to be upset, we want to be jealous, we want to be betrayed or abandoned. We want to feel that way, because that feeling prevents us from experiencing peace. Right? So we have a two-pronged approach, if you will. I don't know if I can get this together, but I'll try it. So all right, so let's say this bottle is the truth, right? And this is the truth behind the illusion. And then we have basically two layers in front of it, right? So for you, you don't see the truth because there are two layers in front of it. The first layer is always our guilt. Right? We project our guilt outward, we project our guilt into the world, and it appears, as the Course says, the shadows, the shadow, guilt's shadow, right, as the psychotherapy pamphlet says. Guilt's shadow rises from the world in the form of any kind of issues and problems that we have. Guilt's shadow is the layer that protects us from going one step further, which is the overall purpose that this problem serves, which is to block out the truth. So in one sense, the material of the problem, let's say we have issues with money, right, or a relationship. The issue with a relationship we have is one of our guilt being projected onto that person, right? There is nothing this person gives us except love. The Course says your Savior gives you only love. The rest is you. The rest comes from you. Your Savior means your brother. So that relationship, in truth, without any illusions, it would be just love, right? This is love. It would be just love that would come to us. If we feel any kind of, upset about that person, conflict about this person, if we feel anxious in the vicinity of this person, has really literally nothing to do with the person. It's really our guilt that we have projected onto the person, which would be the first layer, the blue layer, right? We project our guilt onto the person, or we project our guilt onto a problem. It doesn't matter what it is, right? So our guilt that we then say the other person is responsible for how I feel, that's the first layer. We have to get through that. And the second layer is, then it uncovers the true purpose, and the true purpose of any problem that we're identified with is to keep the truth away from us, to block the truth from our awareness, right? So the purpose of the illusion is to hide the truth from us. And what it also does is it hides us from truth ever getting to us, right? Because truth is God. And we made something out of God that isn't God, right? We made him into a vengeful God. And then we forgot about it. And then we play this out with other people. We make other people into vengeful people that try to get us somehow, right? But it's always our one relationship with God that is being played out over and over in all different aspects of our lives. So it's not only that we use the illusion to hide the truth, to block the truth, we use the illusion to hide from truth. We identify within the illusion of the problem, of all the problems in the world, in this kind of endless stream of issues, micro and macro issues. We hide in those little gaps, in those little problems. We identify so minutia, into the minutia of our day-to-day lives. We identify with those things in the hope that truth will never find us. And there's one sentence that's my favorite sentence in the Course. It is painful and hopeful at the same time. It says, Jesus says, and this is one of those personal lines. He says, "A little while and you will see me, for I am not hidden because you are hiding." Everything we've just talked about is in this sentence. A little while and you will see me. That means just keep going. Keep doing what you're doing and you will see me. You will look beyond the illusion to the truth. And when we see him, What he means with that is that we will feel this love and this homecoming, this feeling of homecoming with him. That is so hard to grasp when we're in the ego thought system. We can't even begin to understand what that means, right? We need many, many of those tiny little fraction of a moment where we feel his love ever so slightly throughout our journey. Sometimes we feel it with other people, sometimes we feel it with him. But we need those fractions, those tiny little holy instants, right, to keep us going through this illusory thought system that we're looking at. Right? A little while and you will see me, for I am not hidden because you are hiding. That describes that double relationship, right? Jesus is not hidden. If Jesus is the truth, he's not hidden only because we placed an illusion over him. And he's not hidden only because we are hiding within the illusion from Jesus. Right? We're hiding from God. We are hiding from truth when we make a problem real, when we, think about issues. That doesn't mean we should stop thinking about it. We can't stop. Our fear dictates for us to think about the problem, to get identified with it. The Course says identification is salvation. It doesn't say identification is just a little thing. It says it is salvation for us. It is our number one survival kit. It is the oxygen when we're on an alien planet. It is literally the oxygen we breathe. Identification with the body and the world is the oxygen that we need while we're here. We believe we need it, and we should not deny that. We should work within this need, right? We need to breathe. While we need to breathe, we should also just look at the ego, right? If we don't have to breathe anymore, then we can stop. But while we breathe, while we, like Ken always says, while we look in the mirror in the morning and we see a person, we should honor and have a healthy respect for the ego thought system. Not honor in a way of honoring, but in a way of not taking it lightly and saying we can just overcome it. But again, if we put just in front of something, we can't really use that on the Course. We can't just forgive. We can't just overcome the ego. We can't just see the Christ in others. If we could, we would. We would be there right now. We would have abiding peace that lasts for eternity. We don't have that. That means we don't want it. And we don't want it because we're afraid that truth will find us. So we hide within the illusion and we hide from the truth. And Jesus says, a little while and you will see me, right? Go through your process of uncovering the ego and you will see me. He is not hidden only because we are hiding. So to see in the illusion, in anything that we think about, good or bad, doesn't matter. Whatever we think about, that doesn't fill us with complete peace and love for everyone, that is part of the illusion. And the purpose of that is for us to hide from truth and to hide the truth from us. It's a double function, double purpose. Right? We use the world to hide from Jesus. And we use the illusion to hide Christ from our sight when we look out into the world. And the purpose the world serves is to hide the truth, the love that is there, the oneness. And then it says, in the same, we're going back to the vision of sinlessness, chapter 8 in section 8 in chapter 20, paragraph 7. That's the paragraph just before it says hallucinations disappear. It says, what if you recognized this world is an hallucination or an illusion? What if you really understood you made it up? And to really understand we made it up, there has to be the second component to that, which is to understand the purpose that it serves, right? We can intellectually say, I made up the world. I mean, we can get there, right? In the Course is very clear. This is an illusion. We made up the illusion. We can do that. We can intellectually say, I made up this world. But it doesn't mean anything to us, right? We don't really grasp what it means. I can say I can fly a 747, right? It doesn't mean anything because we don't know what we don't know. We don't know that how much is involved in it. And recognizing that this world is an hallucination means, and recognizing that I am the one made it up means, why did I make it up? What is the purpose that it serves? That's the core, right? What does it do? What if you really understood you made it up, really understood you made it up and why you made it up? I made it up for a very specific reason. I made any problem in my life up for a very specific reason. And that reason is first to get rid of my guilt, and with that, to hide the truth from me, and for me to hide from truth inside that problem. And now we can start to realize why looking is so important, right? To step outside of the ego and look at it and see, this is what I'm doing, and I'm doing it for such and such purpose. And that purpose is so I'm not at peace. That is the looking aspect. That is the forgiveness. Right? We ask Jesus for help, and we look at the purpose we have given that problem, which means the purpose is not to be with Jesus. So if we ask Jesus for help in looking at that, the fact that we don't want to be with him, that's kind of a backdoor sneaking into the ego thought system, right? If we tell Jesus 1,000 times a day we don't love him, we're connected to him 1,000 times a day, right? If we ignore him, nothing's going to happen. But if we communicate all the times we don't want to be with him, we would rather think about this problem, think about this relationship, than to be with him, and we talk to him about it, that's what gets us closer. Because it uncovers the ego, and it joins us with the very reason we want the problem in the first place. So it's a brilliant solution. Right? If our purpose is to hide from love, or to block out love, and we communicate with love and telling love, hey, this is what I'm doing, that's the answer. It takes a while because we made this world, which is an hallucination, so solid. And the reason why we made so solid is the purpose, right? The world itself isn't solid. The power of our mind is such that I could now literally put my hand through that board and put it back out and nothing. It would be nothing, right? Such is the power. But we're very afraid of that power because we believe we used that power to kill God. That's why we cut it off ourselves and we push it away and we give it to the world. Now the world has the power over us. But we, the power of our mind, made this illusion. And we made it very, very dense. Right? We made it with laws of gravity. Gravity is guilt. There's no other law of physics than guilt. Guilt is what keeps this world going. It is the material from which we made the world, is our guilt, our projected guilt. That's the material. And the purpose of it is to hide from the truth. And the material is guilt. So if guilt disappears, if we loosen our belief in guilt, the world will seem more and more transparent. The body will be less dense. Relationships will be less intense. The intensity of any relationship we feel is the guilt we have given it. There is no other intensity. The other person might do whatever they want to do. If our guilt wouldn't be projected outward, there would be no intensity. There would be no heaviness in the relationship. Whatever we believe is in a relationship is ours. Because we need to get rid of this guilt. And we use this guilt to hide the truth from us, the truth in the other person, the love that is there, right? That is the purpose of any conflict in any relationship, is to get rid of guilt and to hide from the love. And we do this in one step, right? We push out our guilt to get rid of it, and while we push out the guilt onto the other, right? While we push out our guilt onto the other becomes invisible. The Christ becomes invisible. Right? So the material is our guilt. The process is projection. And the purpose is to hide the Christ from us, to hide the truth. And when Jesus says, a little while and you will see me, for I'm not hidden because you are hiding, we will see him in everybody. We will not see a face. We will see with the vision of the Holy Spirit, we will see the love that is in everybody. Right? That's when he says, you will see me. Me means this love that you have forgotten. That's what we will see in the other. And what we need to do in order to see this is to uncover the purpose we gave that relationship. What does it do? What does it do to me right now? And that feeling, that experience of unrest, of whatever it is, of worry, of fear, of terror, of shame, whatever it is that we feel and think, that was the purpose of the problem. And that's how we get from our belief in the illusion to slowly but surely disentangle ourselves from it. Not by just thinking about the illusion or looking at the illusion. No, we must look at the purpose the illusion serves, because that purpose is what, see this blue thing? This is the purpose of the illusion. What if you realize that those who seem to walk about in it, to sin and die, attack and murder and destroy themselves, are wholly unreal? Could you have faith in what you see if you accepted this? Right? So first he talks about what if you recognize this world is an hallucination, and in the second paragraph, the one we read first, is hallucinations disappear when they are recognized for what they are. They serve a purpose. right? So we can try to chip away on this, right? We can try to chip away on the illusion. And that's what the ego wants us to do. The ego says, yeah, just chip away on the illusion. It's all good. This is an illusion. Oh, this is an illusion. You know, we have a problem with our marriage. Oh, this is just an illusion, right? The ego wants that. It's like, yeah, concentrate on that. That's fine. Because as long as we don't realize the purpose that it serves, it will stay. Purpose is everything. Motive in a criminal case is everything. Without motive, nothing. There's nothing, right? Without a why. Why is it? A different way of saying this is in chapter 24, section 7. Let's get a little bit of a summary for what we just said. It says, the test of everything on earth is simply this, on everything on earth, right? Every problem, every difficulty, everything on earth, a flower, an atomic bomb, a sickness, an issue with relationships or health. The test of everything on earth is simply this: what is it for? The answer makes it what it is for you. It has no meaning of itself. It has no meaning on itself. The illusion has no meaning other than what purpose does it serve? What is it for? What does it do to me at this very moment when I'm sitting in the subway? I close my eyes and I realize, how do I feel? Somebody next to me is coughing. I close my eyes, I get worried. Right? The purpose this situation serves is for me to be worried. And when I'm worried, what am I not experiencing? Peace of God, love, peace, truth, joy. That is the purpose of the situation. So we can practice this course really with this very small little fragment. If we forget everything else and we're on a deserted island and we're like, oh my God, I forgot the whole course. What is it for? What is it for? In every situation we're in, we can ask, what is it for? If we get an email and we're upset about it, what is the purpose of the email? If we're upset, that was the purpose we have given it. And we have given it the purpose because we still believe the truth is dangerous. And we're hiding from it, and we're hiding the truth from us. Right? So the purpose of the illusion, this is what we have to do. And this is what we have to look at with Jesus, right? When I rehearsed this, it worked also. No, just kidding. So once the illusion is gone, the truth is all there is, right? But we need to, and in order to reach that goal of that block being gone, we need to focus on the purpose that it serves. All right, as a closing, I'm going to read the last paragraph in that chapter 20, section 8, the vision of sinlessness. And that is when we look out into the world and we have changed now the purpose to Jesus's purpose. We have finally, we no longer need to hide from him. So he is no longer hidden, right? We see everything through his vision. And we can look out at a war and we will feel love, right? Because it has nothing to do with the outside world, of how our interior, what we experience inside. He says, when you have looked on what seemed terrifying and seen it change to sights of loveliness and peace, when you have looked on scenes of violence and death and watched them change to quiet views of gardens under open skies, with clear, life-giving water running happily beside them in dancing brooks that never waste away, who need persuade you to accept the gift of vision? And after vision, who is there who could refuse what must come after? Think but an instant just on this. You can behold the holiness God gave his Son, and never need you think that there is something else for you to see. Thanks so much for watching.